is the being that is acting out as the human. And then you might say, this means that whenever I have a fear, it is the being that's causing the fear?
No.
Well,
isn't the being projecting it?
The being is projecting it. And it is interpreted as fear. You see the difference? For example, the being is vast, incredibly vast, unendingly vast. It is, in fact, it is infinite. If the human does not know the source of itself as this vastness, it thinks only it's so limited. When it feels this vastness, it feels lost. And it calls it loneliness. You see? So loneliness is the being saying, you are vast. But what happens when you think you are vast? You go into an incredible fear. You see? Incredible fear. That's what we fear. The vastness that has no limit. We can't conceive it because the mind, being so limited, can't conceive of unlimited space, of infinite space. But the infinite is always talking to us. And it comes out in a language that we do not understand, and so we interpret it with our conditioning. And that's what is happening all the time. It is the being that gives you what you call fear. It doesn't give you fear. Fear is our interpretation. You see? It gives you loneliness. As a matter of fact, you'll find that people are very physical, and they never question, anything or think about anything. They're usually quite happy. Did you ever see very primitive people, village people? You know, nothing bothers them. It is only when you start thinking and start involving that you start becoming depressed and lonely and everything else. You see? That's kind of a stage. And then from there, from the self-conscious stage, when you start looking at it and understanding it, you go deeper. So we go to this part, we're always seeking what is real, because it's coming from being. You see? It's making us want what is real. And then we make what is real everything that we experience. Can we help it? No way. We cannot help that. You see? We're making it real because a part of us is crying out for what is real. I've been hurt by that person. Yes, it's real. I have a right to be like this. I have a right to feel this loneliness or this pain. You see? We want to make it real. And the reason we want to make it real because without making something real, we feel empty, we feel void, which of course in truth we are. So we cling to anything in order to make it real because we don't know what the real is. Now, when we begin to see the real, then everything becomes relative and we're no longer caught. You see? In thoughts, emotions, people's ideas of us, the world, what's going on. It is just what is going on. It really doesn't matter, you see? And so once you find that pearl, that essence, that light, that being, yeah, where were we? I was going to make a point. And anyway, you want to ask something there about what I've just said?
So is the void the feeling of that bliss?
The void is bliss.
Is bliss. So when you get past the fear of the void, that's when you go into the depth of
beautiful,
bliss.
Beautiful. And so the question is, thank you, and that keeps going here. So the question is here, if the ego cannot recognize the truth, and of course it can't, you know, so how do we go about it? Are we willing to become void? Are we willing to be silent, to be empty of everything? Yeah.
Well, you implied before, and I've heard this many times as well, and that whatever resistance you feel that's keeping you from that merging with the all that is is simply the thread that you need to follow.
That's right.
That will lead you eventually toward a greater discovery.
That's right. That is the thread.
Yeah.
Because why is it the thread, that line that takes us there where we want to go? The pain, the fear, the disappointment, disillusionment, all can lead to a breakthrough of understanding if we follow it through. You know why? Because it's all coming from being. But the pain isn't pain, the fear isn't fear, it is the interpretation. You see, the thread feels like a threat to us. And that's the interpretation, whereas in truth, it is the link to our true essence. And this is why to accept your full humanity, because your humanity is as it is because you can't help it. It is your link to the source. It is a reflection of being, if you allow it. When you don't allow it, because you have ideas of how things should be, because of the way you want them to be. You see, we want to make things real. And because we want to make things real, then we have ideas how they should be. You see? And that's when we go into control and into problems. But in truth, there is no such thing as how it should be. How it is to be followed. Remove the label fear, remove the label pain or anger from it, and follow that thread. Okay? T-H-R-E-A-D. Thread, right? Okay. Sometimes I don't know I'm pronouncing it right. So this is what we need to follow. When you follow it through, you get back to where it started from. Because every experience that we have that we call negative is a need for us to that which is real. You see? And so, but we do not see it that way. And then we get disappointed. Oh, I want somebody to love me. Well, of course, love is all that there is, right? And then we get so disappointed and hurt when it doesn't come out the way and it never will anyway, because we have expectations, right? And it can never be. But the reason everything falls apart is because we're making real that which isn't real, but we're hoping it is, to give us some meaning. We do not realize it that we have to go beyond what the mind thinks it is to get to its essence of oneness. So let's put it in a simple way. Oneness is doing everything. Everything. The guy suffering and crying out in loneliness and pain, oneness is doing it. The guy in ecstasy, in joy, in happiness, oneness is doing it. One is misinterpreting his experience, the other one is experiencing it as it is. And that's the difference, to see what is. So all it is a misinterpretation, like the Course in Miracles says. It's a misperception of reality, you see? And when you have a misperception of reality, using the Course in Miracles term, immediately it becomes that which we abhor more than anything. So that which you fear will come upon you as a matter of course, because you're seeking what is real when it isn't real. So when you make something real that isn't real, it will own you. Do you understand what owning means? If money becomes all-powerful to you, money will own you. You can have $1 million, but you're poor because you're afraid to spend. You see what I mean? Similarly with owning land. You see? You like the power of it, of owning, but it owns you. Because you spend all your time trying to maintain it, taking care of it, blah, 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 blah. By the time you're 70, 80, you wonder where your life went. Taking care of these things. So anything that you make real will own you. And this is why masters, very enlightened beings, become very unworldly. They give up things, they become renunciates. Not because you should do it, but because the less things you own, the better and freer you feel. You see? And life will take care of you anyway. How does life take care of you? And why does life take care of you?
Because you are life.
Because you are life.